Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party and my buddy Rhett back there, and I have a nut that I've partially cracked for her. There you go, girl. I had actually, that was like half the nut. The other half I had put into her little dish up there. So I think that's why she was up there. It is 9:36 a.m. Saturday morning. It's a little cooler around here, I think. Yeah, it says it's 73 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I think that is probably like feels like 80 degrees, maybe 82, 83. We are working Cypress tests. Yesterday I showed how I open my Cypress tests and everything. So basically I type in npm run Cypress open, which matches up with um, one of my package, one of the commands in my packages folder. I don't know why it's taking so long. It says missing base URL and compiler options. tsconfig. Do not think, I don't know if that is new. Oh, it's up. It just wasn't in the front. All right, so now I'm going to start this. Getting started is the name of the branch that I'm on. And then I don't know where this e2e testing is, but I'm going to choose Chrome and then pop that up, and then I'm going to minimize that. Fits in pretty nicely. And we are working on the reflow functionality. So the reflow functionality is basically, it's kind of a mix of things, which was probably a bad idea on my part. But by default, reflow is on, which basically means two things. First, it means that um, whenever we okay, first it means that when you resize the screen, it'll adjust the size of the screen. So if I add five of these things, or four of these things, I guess is a better way, and then I make this smaller, and I'm on reflow, you'll see that it dynamically updates. That could be a pain in the butt, like if you're actually actively editing something and then you resize it just because you want to see that, and the next thing you know, it's resized for you. But I had remember in my old one, I had always wanted it to automatically readjust sizes, and it never would, and that was a real pain. Um, and then if I turn it off and I hit reflow, see, now it just stays. So it doesn't reflow. So I think there's some benefit to that. I'm not 100% sure. So that's one thing. Additionally, if reflow is off, which it is right now, and you come in here and you delete the second one, and then you come back, and I believe this is either case. In either case, it's going to redraw everybody back to their original position. But when reflow is off, what's going to happen is it's going to ignore the other positions, and it's going to add it down here. And basically what reflow being off says is don't put this on top, or don't mess with anything size when you do that. But when it's on, if you add one, then what happens is it fills in. It doesn't just go to the top. So those are like the four things that this one thing does. I don't really like that. I think it would be better if the resize was decoupled from the reflow. Yesterday, I think I went on a pretty good monologue where I actually talked myself back into this behavior that we have, as opposed to splitting it out. And I cannot remember exactly how I got there, but in some ways, this repositioning things and the way you bring new items in are like sort of um, like they're really, while they seem like separate issues, they're this kind of the same issue, I guess. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how I came to that conclusion. But anyway, so I'm working on reflow, and then I also have made a script for delete. And delete doesn't do anything at this point, But so basically what I want reflow to do is check to, I think all I want out of reflow is just to check to see that when reflow is on, it resizes, and when reflow is off, it doesn't resize. And then I think the delete is where I'll test the different, like if you delete something and then, no, I guess not. I guess deleting, I just want it to delete things. I don't want to care about at all what happens in this reflow. So I want whatever I add to, whatever I add, I think whatever delete script does should work and should pass regardless of whether reflow is on or off. It should be completely separate. Reflow should be completely focused on the things. So that means, so right now my reflow, I believe, just checks to see that if I click it, it gets checked or unchecked, and that's it. But I think the next thing I want to do is add another test that adds like 4 things and resizes with reflow on, and then tests that it scrolled down to the second one, and then turns reflow off, and then scribes and tests that it does not in fact resize. And then I guess what I'm going to want a third test to do is go in and delete like the second one, and then add 4, delete the second one, add a 5th one, and make sure that the 5th one comes down here when the reflow is off. But when reflow is on, that the second one is over here, up here, and that they're so I guess, you know, I think the reflow one is going to be a lot more difficult, a lot more stuff than the delete. But anyway, so this is end-to-end testing, and we have one test. My description is passes, which I don't think checks reflow toggle for the UI. And then what we're going to do is, I guess we're going to add a second one. And what we're going to do is copy this. And what is going on over here? I don't know. I thought I clicked it, right? Or maybe I never clicked it. Okay, so this is the end-to-end test for reflow so far, and all it does is just double check that the unit that it gets checked or not. And I don't know when like about maybe 3 weeks ago, Cypress just got really slow, and it didn't just get slow on my local machine here. I also have this at work. I have some of my own Cypress tests just so I can make sure I don't break things, and it got really slow there too, and they're completely different things. All right, so it did check both things. So now we're going to add a second test specification. So this is called reflow spec. I don't know if all of these are specs, and then there's a, okay, so text checks that okay, checks reflow on visualizations for reflow on, reflow checked. So basically reflow is checked, so that means it should resize every time. I don't think we want to actually click any of these things. Okay, so let's just get rid of these one at a time. Okay, so all we're going to do is check to make sure that it exists. If something happens where it can't find the existence, we got a problem. Okay, so now we want to click the add button. So basically, click the add button. And I mean, it's so weird because the when you're doing this, like when I'm typing this right now, it's just like, okay, this is nice, it's good. But later on, when I get to the point where I've made changes and stuff, this provides me so much like confidence in the code because I know that this behavior that I'm doing right now will still exist even after, and if it doesn't, it'll catch it. And you know, it's just wild that okay, so that worked. It added one, so now we're going to try to add 3 more. For first viz. And again, like this, like adding this comment is kind of like, doesn't seem particularly useful at this time, but like, I don't know. I think your brain has a very limited amount of confusion that it can take. Once you get above a certain amount of confusion, it sort of paralyzes you. So anything you can do to sort of not pile onto the confusion stack, if you can just add a little function, a little comment that's going to make it to where like, oh, okay, I'm a little bit less confused, or I'm trying to hold a little bit less to keep it all together. Anything you can do like that is incredibly useful. So it looks like this is about where I want this thing to be. All right, so I'm just going to add the 3rd and the 4th now. That is like, I don't know. I find that a lot of young developers, like they enjoy that feeling of being a bit confused. You know, they kind of find it to be a bit of a rush, and that is true. But the problem is that as you become a better and better developer, what's going to happen is that the confusion is geometric. It's not linear. So your confusion level will go from like a 1 to a 2, and then from a 2 to a 4, and then from a 4 to a 16. And you do not want to get to that 16 spot. All right, so now we have our 4 items, and we want to resize the viewport. And I know I do a resize in here, so let's just do that. Okay, I know I like this wait time. So let's just have our wait time. Let's add our wait time. We don't quite need it yet, but we will. And so right now it's 2 seconds. Let's make it 1 second. I am just dumbfounded that this tool is not like highly used for sales. Like to me, it seems like having this tool ready to roll when you're so this is interesting. So viewport, okay, so viewport is that having this tool ready to roll for demo purposes, and just be able to click the button and make sure that everything's still working the way expected and all that, and then you know, let it do its thing is just like, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind that every sales department doesn't have a full-time. Okay, so that's nice. So now what we want to do is we want to find I guess we want to get a reference to all four of them, which I believe we do something along those lines in here too. Okay, so appviz must be the name of the actual DOM objects. So like if we were to write, let me go into the actual application. So if we were to right click on this and say inspect, oh, can't get to it because of the overlay. Inspect. If we go up the line, what we should see is that, yeah, this is each one of these is their own little app viz. So we're saying, hey, select all the app vizzes, and I expect that to be a value of 4, right? And the one thing I really like about, okay, so if you're a developer, like Cypress appears to do a lot of things for you, kind of behind the scenes to make it a better tool. And one of the things that they seem to have built in is like waiting for things to exist. So I think in other systems, you'd have to say get app viz, wait a fraction of a second, and then check. But this actually seems to have that built into it, which is a good thing because it makes coding in this so much more pleasant and less confusing. But it's a bad thing because it like sort of protects you from some complexities. Let me see if I hit Control S. See, it all happens so fast now. Okay, so now we want to check to see that the third one is low. Or even the fourth one, yeah. So this actually works. So this checks, I think, the fourth item in there and checks to see that it has a top of 500. It might be the fifth item. I don't know if 0, it's probably 0. But let's find out. Let's just throw that in there. Okay, so I think it passed. No, it failed. And that's because it probably didn't find a fourth one. So that's good to know. So it starts at 0. So I think that'll pass because that is in fact the fourth one. And one nice thing I think you can do in this, I don't know why it didn't show. Let's rerun this. Oh, interesting. So, okay, so you click on that and see, I can say, see, it actually shows me what the third one is. And then we expected it to be 200. Okay, so now we want to, and I don't, maybe it should be, yeah, okay, so we're going to add a third one for unchecked. And I got to tell you, like, this is just going so much faster than I would have expected. And then should, I wonder if I could say not have. But anyways, let's go ahead and basically that is that. And then we want to also click the reflow button and then open up the menu again. Because when you click the reflow button, it actually closes the menu, which is the desired behavior. We just, because adding, I feel like it's something you might want to do from the keyboard. I wrote special code so that the menu doesn't close when you. So we're expecting this last one to fail. right? So basically, yeah. See, it failed because it wasn't at 400 because it didn't reflow. So I feel like it's fair since we're testing for it being at 400 to not. So I don't know if it's not dot have. So it's working on the last one. Yep, so that worked. So now I think we're testing that. So if we were to break that in the future, it'll show very quickly. And I think that's it for reflow. Oh no, I did want to delete and then check that when I add the fourth one that it is delete the third one, come back, and then check that the fourth one, and then add one, and then check. So I don't know. I feel like that's just the same test. I guess not. Okay, but I think so I think a fair test would be to, when reflow comes on, make sure that the fifth is on, that make sure that the fifth one is down a level, and then when the when reflow is off, that the fifth one stays up a level. So for unchecked, okay, so this is for checked, right? For checked, okay, so next I guess what we want to do is set the viewport back to, I don't know what it was. I think it tells us 660 it looks like, or maybe it's 1000. Oh, it's 1000. Okay, so let's just make sure that works. And it's 1000 by 600. Seems to be by 660. We'll just leave that way, and then I can't remember how you focus, and you tell it to only run one. I think let's just do this because it's a little easier if it's the last one. Now, now I'm just going to go to ChatGPT and ask. So, in Jasmine / Karma, I think it's the other way around. I can name start a test with FIT instead of IT. Is there a way for me to focus on the new test? To focus to is there a way for me to do the same in Cypress? And I remember, I'm pretty sure it only, okay. I'm pretty sure, I was pretty sure you couldn't do it. I think I tried it before. Now, a lot of times it'll give you something, and then that will be for a different version or something like that. Okay, so it only ran this one. Okay, so that worked. All right, so what we have reflow on, so when we add another one, we expect it to be on the next line. and that is open. So this is, so yeah, interacting with it while this is open is not possible when you're just regularly doing things. Add, click the button for the 5th viz. Now this is like the most dangerous. Comments is probably like the most dangerous. Uh-oh. Did it do it? I don't see one. Did not seem to add the 5th one. And it is open. And that works. Maybe the first click just gets the focus on it. I wonder if I can do a double click. If I do that, I definitely need to add a comment explaining that you have to double click because of the focus. Okay, yeah. Okay. Takes two clicks. First focus. Second clicks. Okay, so now we want the 4th one to have a top of 200. Okay, so that's what we would expect on reflow. So with the other one, I guess we want the 4th one to not to have the 300. So basically we want to do the exact same thing. Well, okay, so let's get rid of the only and see what it does now. And again, I am just astounded at how fast this is going compared to, especially when you compare it to unit testing. Okay, so basically, I think, yeah, I guess we want the same thing, but to not have the 4th one. So this kind of checks two things. It checks that there's one that it added the 4th one, the 5th one, and then second that it wasn't. And I guess we should bring the viewport back so at least we can see something. Right now we can't really even see anything. And I think that this sort of functionality is like unusual. So like it would be easy to lose. Dot only. Okay, I did. I do not. Okay, reflow is off. I feel like that's wrong, right? Reflow. Let me add another. Let me just. Yeah, so that broke. It's kind of weird. All right, so let's have it wait right before it does. I guess I would rather it wait after the viewport change, not before the viewport change. Oh, well, It is weird that it failed. Maybe I don't know. It's weird because it said that it was 0, that it expected it to be 200. So, okay, so that is not, reflow is off. It should. I guess that is not what I wanted reflow to do. Oh, let's see. Let's reload this. Add viz, add viz, add viz, add viz, add viz. Oh, reflow's on though. Reload. See, I guess even with reflow, I think that might be a bug. Oh, so okay, yeah. So even with reflow on, it off, while it doesn't change it when you do this, it does put it to the next line. Is that what I want? What would I rather have? I guess I would rather have, I don't see any value, I guess, now that I think about it. Like I can see like sort of the logical argument that, oh man, when reflow is off, it shouldn't be, but what would be the point of putting a new thing off the screen? That doesn't make any sense. Um, so I think all these fifth things are a bit of a waste. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the second one. That's like sort of another real major benefit, I think, of these end-to-end tests is it does make you think about, okay, how is this supposed to work exactly? I mean, this I see happen all the time in business. So I don't know. Oh, we got rid of it. So anyways, all these are passing. This is weird that this is in this corner. I don't know. That is funny. Now it's back over there. Um, so that's that. I think I'm happy with reflow. I don't think it should. I don't see any benefit to adding a visualization off the screen. If we can get it on the, when we add it, we can get it on the screen, I think. Now I can understand like, oh, we want a kind of a set of tests that act very consistently and all that, but like we want rules that are very consistent and all that, but like I actually don't care about that. I mean, I do care about that, but I don't. I look. I would rather it be a more useful tool than fit into sort of these rules that, you know, the only reason they exist is to maintain some sort of consistency. Um, so, anyway, so that is that. That is the reflow end-to-end test. Next is delete. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Um, delete. Basically, I think what we want is that we'll delete one, make sure there's only 3 after we're done deleting, and then like kind of, I guess, go back to the grid view. So basically, yeah, what we're going to want to do for the test will be basically this. Add, 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 add. Grid. Delete. Or in list view. Back to grid view. Make sure there's only 3 there. Make sure that the third one is over here, I guess. Make sure that it's the third one is in this spot over here. I feel like that, yeah. Make sure there's only three, and make sure the third one's all the way over there. And then, no, make sure there's only three, and then who cares about the location? Oh yeah, make sure that the second one is not here. That'll be um, the test, and then add add a fourth one back in, and make sure that the second one is there. That'll be for delete on reflow, and then yeah, I guess it makes sense to do this here. I kind of didn't. I kind of wanted to be delete just to be delete, but I guess when we delete on a reflow with the reflow off, and then we add, and then go to this view, and then delete, and then go back to the grid view, and then add. And we want to make sure that the fourth one is down here. And I guess that'll be it for add. And I can't see any reason why it'll take more than tomorrow's session. So then, I don't know, maybe I'll go back and sort of run all the unit tests as individual suites to make sure we still have 100% coverage that way. Maybe not. I don't know. I just don't even know. And then if I don't decide to do that, then I guess I'll just do a commit and a push, and then we'll start on the final part of the CRUD, and that's the update. I think update is going to be complicated because I know I want at least two ways to be able to update something. And one way is like through just like a text. So I can go in and I look at the actual JSON and tweak the JSON, and it updates. And then second, I want at least a form, right? So then I just see a list of, I go to a form, I see for the visualization, I see a list of things that I can change, and then I change it through a form. I think I also want a CSV. So I go to a grid. Maybe I'll even do AG grid. I'll do a grid, be able to tweak it in the grid, also be able to upload, like download a CSV from the grid, and then be able to upload the CSV from the grid to do that. And then once I have that, it probably makes sense to add a new button here for upload, which would let me upload a JSON or a CSV to generate to render a new visualization. And that is probably going to take the rest of the year, I bet you. But I feel like if I get that working really well, if I get a nice clean thing, because there's going to be all kinds of validation things and all kinds of stuff that need to be done as part of that. But if I can get that foundation right and get it nice and solid, then the big decision will be like, okay, do I want to move forward with like a physics engine as part of the animation scheme? Or do I want to just start adding new things, that we can do, like, be able to make this a sphere or all the different shapes, be able to put letters in there, modify the types. Like right now, there's only a few types of animations that are possible. And I think, in the update, we'll probably also have to not only be able to update the actual meshes and the actual, I don't know. But there's so many directions that can go from there. And I don't know. It feels like it might be the right time, as soon as I get sort of all the different various ways of doing updates. It seems like it might be the right time to do the physics engine, to get that into the system. while it's still very raw, and then maybe, you know, try to hook in this animation so that like these things are falling based on a certain gravity or wind and stuff like that, you know. But not exactly sure what to do about that. Anyways, so that is that. So next is end-to-end test for delete. Right now we don't have anything in there. That should be pretty straightforward. Definitely looking forward to that. That this was very, very fast. Anyways, happy coding. Bye.